It's already the appointed time and we've formed a quorum. Welcome to the meeting of the panel on Commerce, Industry, Innovation and Technology. Item number 1. Members, please note that since the last meeting, no information paper has been issued by the Secretariat. Item number 2 is date of our next meeting and items for discussion. The next meeting is scheduled for the 16th of May at 2:30 p.m. in room 2A. There are 2 proposals from the administration. First, the Hong Kong Productivity Council's work in complementing the National 14th Five-Year Plan and the Guangdong Hong Kong Macau Greater Bay Area Development, item 1 on the list of outstanding items. The second proposal is discussion at multilateral and regional fora on investment facilitation initiatives, item 2 on the list. Members, do you have any comment on the proposals, please? No? Thank you. Now, S3 Technovation Center has written to the panel to invite members to be present at the opening ceremony of S3 Technovation Center on the 12th of May 2023, a Friday. The invitation and details have been circulated to members by email on the 14th of April. And if you wish to attend, please return the reply to the Secretariat by the 21st of April for further arrangements. All right, the third item on the agenda is making new rules under the Trade Marks Ordinance, CAP 559, and amending the Trade Marks Rules, CAP 599A. Please invite the administration to join us now. Members, you may now press the request to speak button. I believe we have ample time today, so each member can have up to 4 minutes for questions and answers. Members, please note that the administration intends to present the relevant subsidiary legislation to the Council in the 3rd quarter of the year for negative vetting. And the administration would like to consult us on the proposed amendments. Over to you, Secretary. Thank you, Chair. In June 2022, the administration amended the relevant legislation to provide for the legal framework for implementation of Madrid Protocol in Hong Kong. Now, under CAP 599, a new set of rules should be formulated to set out the procedures and workflow for carrying out Madrid Protocol in Hong Kong. So we intend to make a new set of new trades international registration rules, and we also intend to amend the trademarks rules CAP 599A to enhance the operational workflow and proceedings of the trademarks registry, as well as to provide the legal framework. We're going to consult members on the proposals to solicit your support. I will first brief you on the background of the proposed amendments, and then I will defer to the Director of Intellectual Property to brief you the details. Now, trademarks rights are territorial in nature and are granted independently by different jurisdictions according to their own laws and practices. A trademark owner will have to make individual applications in each and every jurisdiction when he wishes to obtain local protection for the trademark. The Madrid Protocol is an international agreement adopted in 1989 to provide an international trademark registration system so that one single application and a payment of one set of fees will suffice. So far, there are 114 contracting parties to the protocol covering China and many other major trading partners of Hong Kong, although it's yet to be applied to Hong Kong. Upon extension of the Madrid system to Hong Kong, an overseas trademark owner may concurrently seek protection for a trademark in multiple jurisdictions through a single application, when a Hong Kong trademark owner may also seek protection for a trademark in multiple overseas jurisdictions concurrently through a single application. This will enhance Hong Kong's reputation as a trademark regime in the international community and Hong Kong's competitive edge in developing IP trading in the region. And this is an important strategy that complements the National 14th Five-Year Plan supporting Hong Kong's development into a regional IP trading center. And the Central People's Government has indicated support in principle to the proposed application of the protocol to Hong Kong. The registrar of IP or the director of IP will have to make a new set of subsidiary legislation under the Trade Marks Ordinance to set out the detailed procedures, rules, and fee items for implementation of the system in Hong Kong. And it's also suggested that the government should take the opportunity to fine-tune the current procedures and rules in the local or domestic trademark system. Because the local as well as the Madrid protocol are rather similar. So after consideration and taking into account the operational experience of the registrar, we propose to implement refinements to our system, and they will be incorporated into the new trademark international registration rules. And the relevant provisions in the current trademark rules will also be amended. We will also take this opportunity to encourage more people to submit applications by electronic means by providing a discount in fees. In formulating the current proposals, the Intellectual Property Department has consulted stakeholders locally, and the local major professional bodies have been consulted. In general, they supported the proposals. With members' support, we plan to submit the relevant legislation to the Council for negative vetting in the first half of 2023. After we have completed all the necessary preparatory work for implementation of the Madrid Protocol in Hong Kong, we will seek the Central People's Government's formal agreement to apply the protocol to Hong Kong. I now defer to Mr. Chow to brief you on the details of our proposals. Thank you. We would like to provide the background as well as the major proposals under the paper. Now, when the protocol is applied to Hong Kong, the registry will play a dual role, and that is the office of origin and a designated office. When the registry assumes the role of an office of origin, a Hong Kong trademark owner may file an application for international registration of a trademark with the International Bureau through the registry on the basis of a corresponding domestic application for registration of the trademark, and designate one or multiple contracting parties to the Madrid Protocol where trademark protection is being sought. If the international application meets the examination requirements of the IB and the registry, it will become an international registration. The IB, International Bureau, will then forward the relevant application to the trademark offices of each of the designated contracting parties for their processing. And the trademark office of each designated contracting party will examine the relevant trademark application according to its own domestic laws and practices to determine whether domestic protection should be conferred on the trademark. When the registry acts as a designated office, an overseas trademark owner of a contracting party to the Madrid Protocol may likewise file an international application with the IB through the local trademark office under the Madrid system, designating Hong Kong in the application as one of the places where trademark protection is being sought. The request in the application designating Hong Kong will be forwarded through IB to the registry for its local substantive examination. The registry will determine whether protection should be conferred on the trademark of the international destination Hong Kong in Hong Kong primarily according to the existing requirements and conditions under the TMO as applicable to examination of domestic trademark applications. A trademark that is conferred protection through this route will become a protected international trademark and will enjoy the same rights as a locally registered trademark. So international registration and also designation can be managed by one-stop service, covering the renewal and the revocation, etc. of the trademark. Under the protocol, there are rules and procedures. So we will specify in the trademarks international registration rules that the registry will assume a dual role as an office of origin and a designated office. The scope of the legislation will cover the criteria and also rules for submitting an international application, the requirements of protection, and international application will be examined in accordance with those used for vetting local trademark applications, and there will be procedures for opposition from third parties, as well as provisional refusal notices and also the final decision. The IB will be informed through these established procedures. An international trademark owner will enjoy statutory rights locally, and also the workflow that would affect their rights will all be set out in the rules proposed. And the trademarks international registration rules will also set out fee items of local procedures. For details, please refer to Annex A. Those items would include handling fee for presenting an international application to the IB, and also the procedures of registry in dealing with different procedures. The fee items for procedures of the registry as a designated office is a new service under the item. Under Section 91(6), the fees will be charged on a cost recovery basis, as well as the government's established user pay principle. New fee items are the same as those for providing the equivalent services under the domestic trade market registration regime. When it comes to the workflow and also improvements to legal procedures, we will take this opportunity to make amendments. Please refer to Para 9 for the proposals. We're going to shorten time limits of some proceedings at the registry in order to expedite the examination process, and we will also improve some of the proceedings and also the requirements on presentation of evidence. And also there will be some interpretation with regard to the recognition of local agents. We will also allow parties of a proceeding at the registry to file documents electronically. And then in 2020, there were some recommendations given by the Director of Audit to the Director of Intellectual Property, there is a recommendation to provide incentive to encourage trademark applications to use electronic filing. So for trademark applications filed electronically, there will be a discount of 15%. And if the pre-approved list of goods and services are used together with electronic filing, that is, the party can directly choose goods and services from our pre-approved list, and then the fees will be further adjusted downwards. There will be a reduction of 25% in total in fees. The fees are set out in Annex B to the paper. We need the subsidiary legislation in order to put in place the Madrid system in Hong Kong. As mentioned by the Undersecretary, we have examined the proposals very carefully. We have strictly adhered to the rules and details of the Madrid protocol. I appeal to members to support our legislative proposals. We welcome questions from members. Thank you.
Thank you, Undersecretary and Director. 4 members have pressed the button to speak. We'll start with Professor William Wong. Thank you, Chair. I give my support to the proposal. However, in order to achieve this, a lot of work has to be done. According to paragraph 9, it's mentioned that the administration won't rule out the option of adding a directorate officer to handle the work. Why should the work be shared by the Director of Intellectual Property? Will the workload be shared by another officer? It's mentioned here that non-directorate officers may be needed as well to handle the relevant work. Will the administration take into consideration and make changes to the establishment of the Intellectual Property Department? Thank you. Thank you, Professor, for the questions. After we've implemented the Madrid Protocol, we will be able to provide to the trade one more channel. You can see that we're proposing some adjustments to the procedures by shortening the processes. And there is proposal for fee reduction as well. As Professor, you can see that we will see an increase in the number of applications. In terms of staff arrangements, we will continue to review our establishment for the need of directorate officers. In the initial stage of the implementation, we do not expect a significant increase of applications. We will monitor the number of applications we receive, and if there is a need to add extra staff, we will report it to the LegCo. We will try to satisfy the needs to vet applications and take care of other work based on our existing establishment. Next, Dr. Tan Yue-heng. According to paragraphs 13 and 14 of the papers, it's mentioned that after the implementation of the Madrid Protocol, China will be one of the contracting parties to the protocol. However, the arrangements, the existing trademark arrangements between China and Hong Kong will not be applicable. That's why if we want to smoothen the trademark applications between Hong Kong and Mainland, we have to set up a mechanism. There are challenges to this, especially under the framework of CIPA. Before 2020, there were some discussions in the Legislative Council. There were questions about whether there could be mutual recognition system of registration of trademarks between Mainland and Hong Kong. And it was mentioned at that time there would be difficulties. Now 3 years have gone by. On this question, I wonder between the Mainland and Hong Kong if there is both the implementation of Madrid Protocol in Hong Kong. Should there be a separate mechanism for the registration of trademarks if such an arrangement is required? Well, after 3 years of study, are there any results or conclusions from your study? 3 years have gone by and we have seen a lot of changes. If there is a need to put in place a mechanism for mutual recognition of registration of trademarks between the two places, is it still not possible, or are there other considerations now? Well, as mentioned, the Madrid system is based on the contracting parties to the protocol. It's not applicable to the different constituent parts within a contracting party. Our view is that after implementation of the Madrid Protocol, we will work with the Mainland authorities to see whether further facilitation measures are needed to be put in place between Mainland and Hong Kong regarding registration of trademarks. Take patent as an example. We've had previous discussions about this. Well, going back to intellectual property, there are territorial restrictions, and various jurisdictions have their systems to examine the trademark registrations, but there are rooms for us to put in place measures to facilitate the registrations. In 2019, there is the OGP in place. We had our own OGP, and it showed to our nation that we were able to handle this kind of work smoothly. Since the 1st of January 2023, for some of the inventions in Hong Kong, if they want to apply for patent in the Mainland, there is an express lane. That is an streamlined procedure. So similarly, after implementation of the Madrid Protocol, if we're able to achieve certain results when we want to look for multilateral relationships in terms of registrations of trademarks, I think it would be easier. Next, Mr. Peter Xu. On this Madrid Protocol, currently, some of the businessmen, in order to protect their rights and benefits, they registered or they apply for trademark registration. Each country should have their own set of rules regarding registration of trademarks. The idea of implementing this Madrid Protocol is that there is a way for applicants to apply for registration of trademarks in one single procedure, as we see 130 countries covered by this protocol. Take Mainland and Hong Kong as an example. Say if there is a brand called K5000 in Hong Kong, it's very popular in Hong Kong, but then if the trademark was registered long ago on the mainland, well, in this case, if the trademark has already been registered in the mainland, such trademark could no longer be used. Well, now if we see the implementation of Madrid Protocol, say the company K5000 is still running in Hong Kong, and if a jurisdiction in the Madrid Protocol has already registered the trademark for K5000, and after Hong Kong joins the protocol, and the company K5000 wants to apply for the registration of trademark, well, which party will have the right to use the trademark? The Madrid Protocol is a system that provides convenience to trademark owners to file application for registration of a trademark. When there are controversies, we'll have to look at the trademark rules of the specific jurisdictions concerned. Hong Kong has its own set of rules. As far as I understand, in 2019, according to the trademark rules in Hong Kong, for malicious cases, if there are copying of trademarks, well, there was a revision of the trademark laws in the mainland, and there were some provisions in relation to malicious registration of trademarks. And according to the trademark laws on the mainland, based on these malicious acts, there were some penalties or measures in place to minimize malicious registration of trademarks or copying of trademarks. Trademarks in nature are territorial. So each jurisdiction concerned has its own rules to examine the registration of trademarks. Maybe I can add here. The Madrid system is a one-stop application procedure. You have to go back to the trademark office of each jurisdiction concerned to approve the application. Say if 10 countries apply for the same trademark, and if other owners of other countries are already using the trademark concerned, then the 10 countries involved may not approve the relevant application. So the spirit of the Madrid Protocol is to provide convenience or facilitate the application for registration of trademarks. To put it simply, Madrid Protocol is not a registration unit. It helps or offers assistance to trademark owners to apply for trademark registration. Mr. Dennis Leung. I have a question in relation to national security. If the wording or the images of a trademark involves black-clad violence in Hong Kong, and if it is registered overseas but not in Hong Kong, well, locally, how will the administration or government departments handle such cases? Secondly, trademark rights are territorial in nature. If the same name or trademark is registered in Hong Kong, and if the same trademark is registered elsewhere under a different name, in such a situation, when controversies arise, how will the administration handle it? Will it be passed over to mediation or arbitrary centers? If the trademark owner wants to apply for international registration of the trademark across various jurisdictions, well, when each jurisdiction is approving the application according to their own rules, is there a certain standard or universal standard that they can apply
收費。
The third question relates to fees. As mentioned in the paper, you want to encourage electronic submission of papers, and you can provide a discount of up to 25%. I'd like to know whether physical applications will still be accepted, although the fees will be different, and applications filed electronically will be eligible for a reduction in fees, because the paper is not too clear on this. All right, I'll take the third question, and then my colleagues can take the other two. On fees. Now, physical or applications, paper-based applications will still be accepted, but we can save 15% of manpower if an application is filed electronically, and so a discount is provided. And we have also got a pre-approved list. An applicant will have to fill out or to give us particulars, including the scope of goods or services. Now, if they just fill out a form as they like, well, the goods or services may not be found on our list, and that would cost us manpower. So we have provided a pre-approved list. Applicants who choose from the pre-approved list can also help us to save manpower by 25%, and so we offer, or by 10%. So in total, if you submit an electronic application using the pre-approved list, you're eligible for a 25% discount in fee. The first question relates to what will happen if the graphics or of a trademark violates a particular piece of legislation. Now, in our current legislation, we're saying that if a certain trademark is prohibited in any of our local legislation, then registration can be refused. This is very clear. And in our provisions, we also say that if a trademark contains our regional emblem or regional or national anthem or our SAR flag, SAR an emblem, that can be a reason for refusing or refusal of an application. Well, what if the registration is not in Hong Kong? As explained by the Undersecretary, the Madrid Protocol is just a facilitation measure. It provides a one-stop route for multiple registrations in different jurisdictions, so that the trademark owner doesn't have to submit individual applications to different jurisdictions. Whether a trademark can be registered in a designated jurisdiction of the owner will depend on the domestic trademark legislation and practices of the jurisdiction concerned. So if someone wants to apply for a trademark to be registered in a particular jurisdiction, then the local legislation and practices will apply. That is the principle behind the Madrid Protocol. Perhaps I should put my question more clearly. I am talking about national security issue. The trademark is not registered in Hong Kong, but in another jurisdiction. Will you refuse the registration using our domestic legislation? No, that can't be, because the application will be considered according to a place local legislation. Yes, I've made it very clear. If an application is made through the Madrid system, now Hong Kong plays the role of an office of origin. So you must be registered successfully with the office of origin before you can seek international destination. But if the trademark owner applies for a trademark to be registered outside Hong Kong, that is beyond our control. The jurisdiction will examine the application based on its domestic legislation. Thank you. Next, Dr. Johnny Ng. Thank you, Chair. Now, the 14th Five-Year National Plan gave categorical support for Hong Kong to be an IP trading center, so I'm all for perfecting our IP regime in Hong Kong. I'd like to know, upon completion of all the preparation, are we going to publicize to other jurisdictions? And will you require extra manpower and training? If so, what will be the expenses involved? Will there be measures to facilitate the simultaneous application for registration of a trademark in Hong Kong and in the mainland? Thank you. Of course, we will do our utmost to publicize our IP, trademark, and patent registration, making use of different platforms such as the annual API Asia and also the show that will start tomorrow, and on other occasions as well, at toy fairs and animation fairs, etc. There are various IP platforms available. We will fully utilize these platforms to publicize to the industry and members of the public our latest IP regime. We have done a lot to improve our IP regime. Take copyright as an example. We've just passed a copyright amendment bill under the digital environment, how we can better protect our copyright owners. And this proposal here will provide one-stop service to make it easier for copyright owners. And patents, well, by means of licensing, we have various business opportunities. As suggested by the member, we're going to step up our work in this regard. When it comes to manpower, we will make use of our current establishment to step up publicity. Of course, we have reduced fees and removed restrictions under the proposals. We expect the volume of applications to grow. We may not see a sudden surge in the number of applications initially, but we'll closely monitor the situation. When need be, we will come back to the Council and give you our report. Thank you. Professor William Wong, the second round. Thank you, Chair. My question is also on manpower. In 2020, the audit did a report, and then you didn't have enough manpower to handle the cases back then, and you're adding extra duties to the department. I really want to help you to succeed. You have to take care of current applications. And there may be registered trademarks coming to apply for protection in Hong Kong. According to the report by the Director of Audit, you are short of manpower. So in addition to adding a directorate grade officer, you need to boost your non-directorate support as well. Mr. Zhang, thank you for your support, member. Just to give you some idea of what we are talking about. Every year, we have about 30,000 applications for trademark registration received. Once the Madrid system is put in place, facilitating overseas trademark owners to apply in Hong Kong. Now, currently, they must do it in Hong Kong. In future, they can make use of the one-stop service provided under the Madrid system, and they can apply for registration in Hong Kong at the same time. That may increase the number of applications at first. But we have put in place some measures to streamline our workflow. For instance, we have set up a new computer system, and we have also got a pre-approved list to shorten the processing time. In other words, the current manpower level will be able to cope with more workload. Although there may be a rise in the number of applications when the Madrid system is put in place, we believe we will still be able to cope with the current level of manpower. I'm really grateful to the members' support. If we really feel that we need extra hands within the government, we have an internal mechanism, and if necessary, of course, we will come to the council. If we want to create directorate-grade posts, we'll come to the council for approval. We'll closely monitor the situation. Our projection is that with the implementation of the Madrid system, there will be applications to Hong Kong under the Madrid system. But then there will be fewer trademark applications coming from overseas and applying locally because they can make use of the Madrid system. But that is just an estimate. You should be more precise. According to the Director of Audit, you had a backlog of 30% in the year 2020 when it comes to trademark applications. So have you considered adding manpower, because there can be profound impact on your workload? I defer to my colleague. Yes, Ms. Wen. Thank you. Since the last Director of Audit's report, we have considered our situation very carefully. There was a backlog because there was the implementation of a new ordinance, and then the computer system set up since has greatly helped our efficiency. Previously, we deployed manpower to set up the computer system, resulting in the backlog, but we have cleared the backlog already. We will monitor the situation, and after the Madrid system is put in place, we'll closely monitor the situation to see whether indeed there is increase in the number of applications. If there are no further questions, then from what I've heard from members in general, we are supportive of the proposals in the paper, right? Okay, thank you very much. That ends the discussion of this item.
Now
we're on item 4. Supporting Hong Kong enterprises to develop the mainland domestic sales market. Please invite the administration to join us. Members, if you intend to ask questions, please press the request to speak button. Let us welcome officials to this part of the meeting. All right. We have 7 members who have pressed the request to speak button, so each will have 4 minutes. I'll give the floor to the Under Secretary. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. We'd like to report to members the government's measures to support Hong Kong enterprises to to develop the mainland domestic scales market. What we're talking about, the population or the scale of the economy on the mainland is a big market. The quality and quantity of the market has been ever growing. As mentioned in the paper, in the past decade, the economy has grown tremendously and is now a major, actually the largest commodity consumer market, and which is domestic demand driven. And then there is also this target from the mainland so that there can be dual circulation. Quality brands and products in Hong Kong are rather competitive in the mainland. So the mainland market provides vast opportunities for Hong Kong enterprises. Developing the domestic sales market will be the future for many enterprises in Hong Kong. In order to help Hong Kong enterprises, the Productivity Council has got the T-Box Transformation Sandbox Program, the Hong Kong Design Gallery, and also the GBA One-Stop Platform, etc. The government has been using various subsidizing schemes such as Bud Fund and OCMF to help our Hong Kong enterprises. Now I'd like to take questions from members. Thank you.
Thank you, Under Secretary. We'll begin with Mr. Duncan Chiu. Thank you, Chair. I have to declare that I am the ICT Committee Chair of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. I have a question for the Under Secretary in relation to the mainland domestic sales market. Hong Kong businesses have been striving for more opportunities to take part in the mainland domestic sales market. According to a survey conducted by the Hong Kong University in 2021, 90% of the enterprises in the Pearl River Delta region has never used the relevant services provided by Hong Kong. There are various measures mentioned in the papers, including the Go GBA service. And you also mentioned the preferential treatments or concessions offered to Hong Kong businesses on the mainland. I am a chairman of the Technology Association, and Professor Wong is here today as well. In terms of cooperation between Hong Kong businesses and those on the mainland, these associations play an important role in terms of promoting mutual recognition mechanisms. And these measures may be more practical indeed. In terms of industry standards, moving forward, will the administration put in more effort to help promote these standards? Also, when Hong Kong businesses run their businesses on the mainland, there may be various restrictions. For instance, ICP or data-related industry, and for Hong Kong people going to the mainland to set up companies, they face various restrictions. For instance, in terms of virtual asset and blockchain data companies, they may be able to obtain licenses in Hong Kong, but if they set up companies in the mainland, they may face various issues. Do we have any timetables how we can offer help to them? Also, there are exchange fund control when businesses open up companies in the mainland. They may have to bring cash to the mainland to disperse salary. And in terms of cash flow, they face challenges in the mainland as well to ensure cash liquidity. Would the administration talk to the mainland authorities to promote the implementation of relevant measures to facilitate Hong Kong businesses in running their businesses in the mainland? Thank you for the question. Let me first try to respond to your questions and see whether my colleagues have anything to add. For various sectors, including technology sectors, in terms of output of technologies under CIPA. It is a big agreement covering an investment trade or trade agreements. Member mentioned about the output and input of capital. We'll see if there is room or channels for us to do more. In terms of products, as long as they meet the requirements of places of origin under CIPA, there will be zero tariff. And ICP is one of the measures in place over the past 2 decades. Since 2019, the revision of a service agreement, we have been adding more and more items to the agreement to lower the threshold in order to provide more convenience for Hong Kong businesses to gain entry to the mainland market so that they do not have to go through mutual recognition mechanism to enter the market in the mainland. For instance, for construction industry, planning industry, well, mostly construction industry, there are certain relaxations of requirements. In another panel, we have talked about TV industry relaxations in terms of the requirements. So every year, we concerning IT projects or programs, we have update, and every year we come up with a list and we talk to the Commerce Department. Before we approve the items or projects, we have to take into consideration situations of Hong Kong as well as that in the mainland. So we will continue to talk to the relevant authorities in this respect. I understand the restrictions under CIPA, and we have been talking about it for years. I hope that now that COVID is gone, there will be more relaxations in the Greater Bay Area to facilitate the entry of Hong Kong businesses into the mainland market. Thank you. I agree. Mr. Chu mentioned about the GBA. Well, there are 9 cities in the Greater Bay Area. We'll see whether there is room for relaxation. In 2019, there was the implementation of the outline of Greater Bay Area development, etc. We have been paying attention to the relevant provisions. We see that there are views regarding these developments, such as the IP16 rules, and there are Nansha proposals, etc., to see if there is room for relevant measures to be rolled out on a pilot basis. Next, Ms. Dr. Johnny Ng. Hong Kong products are popular in the mainland because they are of high quality and they are of good reputation. Well, due to COVID, it deals a great blow to the development of Hong Kong products. A survey was commissioned by and it targeted the 9 cities in the Greater Bay Area and Macau. And it seems that consumers have been willing to spend less on Hong Kong products due to a lack of promotion on the internet. And there are very few reviews on Hong Kong brands and products. Will the administration consider making use of online platforms to revive the image of Hong Kong brands and products? Again, I will try to respond to the question first. Over the past 3 years, due to the epidemic, a lot of our business missions, for instance, in the coming May, there will be 2 flagship events. And these events used to be very popular among people in the mainland. And in the past, we have been organizing various events in associations, but they had to be suspended due to the epidemic. So we saw a reduction of the number of events that we could hold over the past few years. But we have been making use of e-commerce platforms. As mentioned, we rolled out the design gallery held by TDC, and we also have a dozen of physical stores. And we partnered with e-commerce platforms on the mainland to roll out these projects. On one hand, it can help Hong Kong businesses to have or gain a knowledge in terms of digital solutions. Also, through these platforms, we can enhance the exposure and awareness of Hong Kong brands and products. I believe TDC will continue to put in effort in promoting Hong Kong brands and products. Anything to add by TDC? As mentioned, in May this year, we will hold the Smart Hong Kong in Guangzhou to display to consumers in the Greater Bay Area over 100 brands from Hong Kong. And this is not only a physical event. As mentioned by Dr. Ng, we'll also make use of digital technologies and also make use of international celebrities, or what we call KOL, to promote the products. We also have the Transformation Sandbox or T-Box program, and we have already helped about 2,000 or over 2,000 Hong Kong enterprises through this program. And in the mainland, T-Box partnered with Tencent on the mainland to come up with various digital promotion solutions for Hong Kong enterprises, and Tencent offered some very cheap prices that are solutions of cheap prices for Hong Kong enterprises. And through these programs, we've been offering assistance to Hong Kong enterprises to help them gain entry to the mainland market. Next, Dr. Tan Yue Hen. I have some questions regarding numbers. According to paragraph 14 of the papers, in the 2023 to 24 budget, it is announced that in the 5 financial years starting from 2023 to 24, an additional funding of $550 million will be provided to the TDC to promote opportunities in the Greater Bay Area. Paragraph 7 mentioned that $45 million in total, 135 million of additional funding will be offered to the TDC. I would like to know how the two funds will operate. Also, according to paragraph 17, it mentions about the BUD fund. In 2021, $6 billion were injected, and this year $500 million were injected. I want to know the balance of the fund now. According to paragraph 18, the government also rolled out the SME Export Marketing Fund. Since 2018, the total approved commitment of the fund has been increased to $7.25 billion. As at end February this year, the funding amount involved is about $473 million. While there is a huge gap between $7.25 billion and $473 million. So what happened to the money? Also, this March, during the 2 session meetings, the Premier mentioned that the target growth this year is 5%. And one of the things that we have to do is to expand domestic demand. It is expected that the domestic demand will continue to grow, offering opportunities to Hong Kong businesses. Surveys show that there are increasing willingness from the Hong Kong business to develop their businesses in the mainland. Also, on risk control, there are demands for such services as well. From the government's materials, I see that there is a lack of information in this area. Do you have plans to further offer assistance to Hong Kong businesses, especially the SMEs, to roll out cross-boundary financing plans or services so that there are better channels for them to expand their businesses in the mainland. Also, the government has rolled out one-stop platforms to Hong Kong businesses, and adjustments can be made. Will you be able to provide more information regarding cross-boundary financing services to link up with the demands for credit services in the mainland so that the platform can more effectively help Hong Kong businesses? Thank you.
Under Secretary, thank you. I'll try to answer some of the questions, and TDC can supplement. With regard to the use of the BUD fund and EMF, as mentioned, after injection $500 million to it, we still have a lot of surplus, and it can last until 2025. In June, we are going to apply and enhanced application systems. Now, for application lower than $100,000, approval can be given within 30 days. We expect the number of applications to soar after that. So there will be an upsurge in the number of applications after that. And for EMF, the balance is about $1.9 billion. The money should be able to last until 27 and 28. Dr. Tan talked about support for cross-boundary financial services and also information available under Go GBA. Now, whether we talk about the digital platform or the HKDDC GBA Center, both online and offline, we would like to provide more information and opportunities for interface and collaboration for Hong Kong enterprises. Whether we can provide cross-boundary financial support, we can discuss with the FSTB to see what we can do in helping the sector in financing. Whether we're talking about BUD fund or EMF or liberation or facilitation measures under CEPA, a few bureaus are involved. Mr. Duncan Chiu asked about the flow of capital in financial services. We have to work with FSTB to see whether there is any room to do more. When it comes to Go GBA and also support for development of the mainland market, I defer to the TDC. Thank you. Dr. Tan asked about cross-boundary financial information. That is a good suggestion. We can enhance the content of Go GBA in this regard. Last year, we work with the Export Credit Insurance Corporation to analyze the risks involved and financial or fundraising in the GBA in particular for Hong Kong enterprises. We have continued to discuss with the Council this year. Hopefully, we can provide more such information, which is really useful for Hong Kong enterprises to overcome financing difficulties when exploring the GBA market. We will enrich our content in this regard. Thank you. Mr. Shiu Ka-fai, thank you. Helping Hong Kong enterprises to develop the domestic market. This is in line with the National Development Plan and also the development of dual circulation in the mainland. We have well-renowned brand names in Hong Kong, and we should help these products to go into the mainland market. I gather from the sector, now as mentioned in paragraph 20, there are different standards applicable in GBA. Hopefully, there can be a list of standards on items such as food safety and quality, ESM products, health care, and etc. for different sectors. Because if our standards are different from that of the mainland, it is hard to promote our own products. So on standardization or of these standards, I'd like to hear from the administration. The internet has developed very rapidly in the mainland. In fact, it's difficult for us to develop the mainland market if we do not use the internet. Now, I'm in the retail industry, and I believe it's difficult to promote my brand names in the mainland. We must have our own brands and also design in order to boost the domestic market. We have traditional famous brands as well as emerging brands in Hong Kong. How can we help them to build up their image so that they can work in the mainland? The business sector is investing their own resources, and I think it will be more effective if the government chip in its resources as well. So what will the government do in supporting Hong Kong brands? Under Secretary, thank you. On standards in the GBA, the Guangdong Administration for Market Regulation in 2021 and 2022 formulated 2 batches of a list covering areas such as food quality and safety, Cantonese cuisine, transportation, etc., covering a total of 110 items for consultation with the industry. The exercise is still in progress. We will closely follow the development together with Guangdong and Macau SAR. We will work out the list. We consult the trade from time to time, and we also encourage them to work on the list of standards for GBA. Last year, we set up an organization like the Alliance of GBA Standards. We invited accreditation and certification companies to join. In Hong Kong, we have a lot of accreditation companies that can offer professional advice. That is my reply to the first question. Your second question is about Hong Kong brands. Patrick from TDC gave a description of various measures adopted to enhance the competitiveness of Hong Kong products. He mentioned the T-Box program, which is free. I understand that about 2,000 companies are already using this program. If necessary, the program can be further extended by 3 months. The purpose is to help enterprises to upgrade and transform their brands, whether in the mainland or in ASEAN countries. There is one-on-one advisory services to help our brands to upgrade and promote their products, and it's entirely free of charge. So if SMEs are interested in promoting and upgrading their brands in the mainland, I encourage them to learn about the T-Box program. And secondly, TDC has also launched digital workshop, and they've also got digital online to promote products and services, also provided free of charge, free learning and teaching. This can help SMEs to better equip themselves to promote their brands online. Next, Mr. Shang Hailong. Thank you. Let me declare interest. I'm also member of various committees of TDC. I'm deeply involved in the work of the TDC. I've got 2 questions and 2 suggestions. First, hope the administration can give a clear definition of Hong Kong enterprises, because the term may sound simple. The concept is rather complicated. It may be a company registered in Hong Kong, but is not offering any product or service in Hong Kong. So can there be a clear definition for Hong Kong enterprises to give them targeted assistance? Now, the third question is the design gallery. to showcase Hong Kong design products. I'd like to know the transaction volume of or the turnover of the design gallery. And because of the epidemic, they have this service to collect projects in Hong Kong and settle payment in Hong Kong. I'd like to know the turnover of Hong Kong projects on this platform. Now, if by definition Hong Kong enterprise is a natural person, then there should be facilitation in the issuance of home return permits. For instance, can the home return permit be used in online shopping platforms, etc.? And the third question is the promotion of digital products. Many Hong Kong enterprises are manufacturers in the mainland. It used to be the case that the products are now were visible, tangible, but now they can be providing online services. So I hope you can promote our services in this regard. This can help us to move into the mainland market. Thank you. First, on our funding schemes, we have the BUD Fund and EMF, and of course there must be a business registration. If the BR can be provided, then the application can be processed or approved. Mr. Shang mentioned technology services. It can also benefit under the BUD Fund. TDC provides platforms, including the Design Gallery, and also a Consign Easy or the GoGBA platform, and also the development support service in the mainland. A number of interface activities have been organized in the past couple of years. Even during COVID-19, over 1,000 such forums have been held to promote collaboration. Whether deals can be struck on these platforms, the turnover or the transaction value, I will defer to DDC for details. When it comes to GoGBA and also support scheme for pursuing development in the mainland, of course, we cannot guarantee success. We offer facilitation, but whether a deal can be struck is entirely business decision. But our focus is to provide the platform for such activities. TDC, thank you. Mr. Shang knows the design gallery well. The products are always rotating in order to serve more Hong Kong enterprises. On average, we can serve more than 400 brand names and 60 physical shops in the mainland also see a rotation of goods. Indeed, we may have to use INT to further promote Hong Kong products. We have seen recent cases of success: health food products manufactured in Hong Kong style, and we will further promote such products. And these are very popular at Design Gallery, and this is where our advantages lie. Can I supplement? The government must have a fine definition for Hong Kong enterprises. Now, for Hong Kong enterprises that can promote development of the local economy, they can be given more assistance. If an enterprise just holds a BR that is not specific enough. Now, the design gallery has got 60 physical points of sales. I'd like to know the turnover online and offline. I'd like to know whether these physical points of sales are self-sufficient and whether they are receiving subsidies from the government.
Next, Professor William Wong. Thank you, Chair. In Hong Kong, we've been trying to promote intellectual property trade. I want to know, under the list of the GBA standards, is intellectual property or INT covered? Services, technologies are all considered as products. Are they included in the list? So my first question, are these areas covered in your list? Secondly, for intellectual property, especially patent, a lot of them originate from universities. Now I understand they are quite segregated. They are managed by another party, but not the business sector. If we want to promote IP or patent, we should promote them as patent. Take Singapore as an example. The universities there compete to organize large-scale conferences to attract businesses to look at their inventions so that their inventions can be purchased or bought by businesses. Also, given that we are rolling out the Greater Bay Area standards, I suggest that the administration should not only look at GBA, we should also develop Belt and Road standards, etc. Thank you, Professor, for the question. On promoting IP trade, I agree with what Professor said. In Hong Kong, we have a lot of what we call upstream scientific or science research outcomes. We should talk to the universities and explore with them whether there is room for us to cooperate. Or maybe we can act as a bridge to help them commercialize their research results. On commercialization, TDC also rolled out the IP exchange platform. Within this year, we will make significant updates and fine-tuning. We hope to offer assistance in terms of the commercialization of upstream science research results. We're not doing it on our own. We're going to work with the research, academic sectors, and other departments or government bureaus to work on this. On GBA standards, I'll ask Assistant Secretary to elaborate. We are currently talking to the Guangdong provincial authorities to come up with a framework. As mentioned, we've come up with a total of 110 items, but the area covered is very wide, including food quality and safety, as well as Cantonese cuisine, etc. As to what can be included in the list, we have to talk to the Guangdong administration first. It is not a safety standard necessarily per se. For Cantonese cuisine, maybe we want to focus more on the branding. We want to create a brand using the GBA standards. Professor Wong mentioned about IP standard. I believe he was talking about the mutual recognition system. It's mentioned in the last session. IP is territorial in nature. There won't be a mutual recognition mechanism in place, but there will be a streamlined procedure. We will proactively talk to the relevant mainland authorities to see if there can be a so-called green lane or express lane provided by the mainland authorities. Say if you are a trademark owner, if you want to apply for trademark registration in the mainland, we'll see if there can be a streamlined procedure to be put in place. I understand some exhibitions on IP exchange were organized. On promoting patent, well, it is something completely different. Will you consider handling patent separately? As mentioned by Undersecretary, we attach importance to science research or technology research results. There are summits or conferences focusing on patent and IP, including the medical forum that we're going to organize next month. The 8 universities in Hong Kong and professors from these universities will take part in the summit. They hope to build connection or reach out to potential investors. This is an anchor event that we're going to organize. There are other anchor events that feature research outcomes, including Belt and Road Summit and Asian Financial Summit, etc. So we agree with what Professor said, that we should have more cooperation with the university in this area. Next, Mr. Adrian Ho. TDC has plans in the coming 1 or 2 years to set up GoGBA one-stop platforms or service centers in the Greater Bay Area, and I give my support to this. I hope that more assistance can be offered to Hong Kong businesses in the mainland. I looked up some information and found that in October 2020, a consign EC program was rolled out. This is a one-stop services offered to Hong Kong businesses on taxation and logistics issues, etc. Such service has been in place for about 2 years now. As at this moment, how many Hong Kong enterprises or SMEs have used such service? Does the administration have the relevant sales statistics or figures so that you can review this service in due course? Also, according to government's papers, apart from Tmall and Taobao or other e-commerce platforms to set up online stores, there are over 60 physical points of sales in the mainland in 18 cities with greater consumption power. Does the administration have plans to set up more points of sales in other cities to expedite the process of Hong Kong brands and products to expand their businesses in the mainland? Thank you, member, for the question. For the design gallery, it is a platform for Hong Kong businesses to test their businesses in the mainland market. A member mentioned about the consigned EC service. It was rolled out at the beginning to provide facilitation to Hong Kong businesses. We also rolled out the design gallery to help Hong Kong businesses to launch their brands and products for the first time in the mainland. As at now, over 170 companies signed up for this program, and the number keeps increasing. After they signed up, they have to go through some vetting procedures and some product certification procedures, etc. And staff from TDC has been offering help to them in this regard. Undersecretary also mentioned about our T-Box program. And we offered through this program one-on-one services to SMEs who need support, and we target the requests raised from each company and see how we can help them enter the mainland market and help them line up or expand their network in the market. These have all been very helpful to them, and the measures mentioned by Mr. Ho will continue to be in place. Next, Dr. Wendy Hong, Chair. Regarding Hong Kong businesses expanding their business or operation in the mainland market, I think they first have to leave Hong Kong and go to the mainland. Well, Patrick mentioned about live broadcasts from KOL. A lot of young people in Hong Kong, they want to make use of the mainland platforms, but the Hong Kong and mainland platforms, they are not interconnected. Even if you use a VPN to log into mainland platform, you cannot use your Hong Kong ID card number to register for the mainland platform. Even if you manage to sort out all these issues, you cannot use live broadcasts to sell Hong Kong products to the mainland. The only way is to make use of e-commerce platforms, and you have to come up with a list of products, and you have to have a place to store these products. And after you've sold the products, you have to take care of the logistics issue. For young people, it incurs high costs. Some e-commerce platforms told us that they are unable to reach out to mainland consumers. Rather, they're able to reach out to consumers from Southeast Asian countries, etc. For young entrepreneurs, it's very hard for them to tap into the mainland market. This is one obstacle. Secondly, even though Hong Kong businesses leave Hong Kong and go out to the mainland market, they will still face a lot of issues. The Hong Kong Productivity Council has recently conducted a study, and it is found that Hong Kong people cannot register for setting up biotechnology companies in the mainland, and the cost for the registration procedures is much higher than that for people in the mainland. Also, professionals cannot practice independently in the mainland. SIPA has been in place for some 20 years now, and a lot of issues that we talked about at the beginning are yet to be resolved. We're now seeing the 20th anniversary of SIPA, and I wonder if there is room to roll out SIPA 2.0. We have to explore ways to allow Hong Kong people to tap into the mainland market without having to leave Hong Kong. Also, I understand that there is this Bud Easy scheme, and for applications involving an amount of lower than $10,000, there will be a streamlined procedure for them. However, Bud Fund requires them to take pictures to prove that they have an official or formal workplace before they can file an application. I understand that the administration want to prevent the misuse of fund, and I wonder if you will send officers to do on-site inspection to facilitate the vetting of procedures, and this will be much more effective than vetting the procedures just based on the paperwork or documents submitted. Thank you, Dr. Hong, for the questions. I'll try to respond to some of the questions. First, on how we can help Hong Kong businesses to grasp opportunities in the mainland without having them leave Hong Kong. Under our current funding schemes, say take Bud Fund as an example, we allow enterprises to recruit KOLs in the mainland to handle some of the work. So you do not have to look for local KOLs. You can reach out directly to KOLs in the mainland. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, we have been encouraging enterprises to roll out online, offline, hybrid mode in terms of organizing their businesses, so that they can run their businesses under the new norm.
When it comes to registration of a patent, is a bit difficult in the mainland. Patents or trademark asset are territorial in nature. You have to go through the domestic registration and vetting procedure. Since the 1st of January 2029, for a local inventor to apply for patent registration in the mainland, there is a green channel for for an expeditious registration. Now, Dr. Hong, you can relate this to your friend, and if he or she still has problem, you can discuss with me later. And as for the situation of small doors still remain closed, even though the main door is open under CEPA. Since the conclusion of CEPA, there have been various rounds of updates. In June 2020, since the implementation of the services and trade agreements are put in place, there have been more liberalization services covering the whole country. Some may not be applicable in all places in the mainland, with early and pilot implementation in 9 cities in the mainland, and some professions can practice there without any mutual recognition of qualifications. Now, in 2021, there is this new management arrangement for filing for record. Now, for those who are in the landscape and other industries, they can just file a record with the Mainland Authority, and then they can practice there. We will continue to see whether there is room for extension of this arrangement to other trades. On another occasion, I also share with you on expansion of our TV and movie industries. Under early and pilot implementation, there can be joint ventures set up between Hong Kong companies in this area with mainland companies. This is the 20th anniversary of CEPA. We'll continue to discuss with the Ministry of Commerce further liberalization service measures in the services sector in particular, so that we can achieve a new milestone on the 20th anniversary of CEPA. P.S. A simple response, please. Thank you. Dr. Hong asked about verifying the status of an applicant under Bud Fund, because we want to spend public money very carefully, and the ceiling of each application can be up to 1 million. If we are not too strict with the eligibility criteria, there may be abuse. In fact, the Secretariat of Productivity Council would go and visit those companies, but if the board member is to do it themselves, then I think the speed would be very slow. It would be better for the applicants to submit the necessary documents. Dr. Kennedy Wong. Dr. Wendy Hong talked about cross-boundary e-commerce operators. In fact, I am quite concerned about the development of cross-boundary e-commerce. And I understand that a lot of G2G facilitation is required, and that is discussions between Hong Kong SL government and authorities in the mainland. Now, this year sees the 20th anniversary since the introduction of CEPA. How can we further expand CEPA? And the SL government should take the lead with the help of the legislature in discussing with the commerce authorities, the clearance and customs authorities in the mainland, so that Hong Kong enterprises can develop e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce. Now, for the TDC and also the Commerce and Economic Development Bureau do not have a dedicated department for overseeing the development of e-commerce, whereas there is such a setup in the mainland, locally and on a national basis. If we do attach importance to the development of cross-border e-commerce, shouldn't we adjust the current establishment? Shouldn't we have a commissioner for e-commerce to oversee the development in this area? Undersecretary, thank you. Dr. Wong. Internally, within the Bureau, we will discuss with the ITI Bureau to see whether there is a need to set up this post and whether it is the right time to do so. I agree with Dr. Wong. If we can have a G2G body, then it will facilitate further development. We'll continue to leverage CEPA to see whether we can further expand the facilitation measures under CEPA. We will explore this under the agreement for provision of services. We will also use the design gallery, and we can use a T-box program. We can use our consign EC platform, etc., to equip our entrepreneurs to embrace this new era in the development of e-commerce. And internally, we'll see how we can do things better. Thank you, Undersecretary. However, I would like Dr. Patrick Lau to respond. Don't you think that TDC should have a dedicated department responsible for the development of cross-border e-commerce? Thank you. We attach a lot of importance to this area because e-commerce is a very real channel for Hong Kong enterprises. As mentioned by Dr. Wendy Hong and Dr. Kennedy Wong, there are obstacles in the systems of the two places. But then Hong Kong enterprises do have advantages if they know how to grasp the opportunities. They can use GBA as a pilot area to set up an e-commerce platform so that they can bring products manufactured in the mainland out to Hong Kong. We have got various programs under TDC to equip Hong Kong enterprises so that under the current policy, they know how to conduct e-commerce so that they can benefit from both the domestic and international markets. Thank you. Mr. Shang Hailong, second round. Well, in my last round, I didn't have enough time. I'll have something more to say to the Undersecretary, and that is about the definition or delineation of Hong Kong enterprises. I disagree with the Secretary's view that once an enterprise has got a BR, it is an Hong Kong enterprise. Rather, we should see the benefits to Hong Kong. After all, we are using public money. So we should not just rely on a BR, and we should not use this broad classification based on the scale of operation of the enterprise. Rather, we should have a new definition for Hong Kong enterprises. And then TDC should incorporate community leaders to promote the development of the domestic market. I've just taken 8 enterprises on a mission trip in Jiangsu, and townsmen's associations are very useful in introducing Hong Kong enterprises to mainland cities. And I am quite concerned about the performance of e-commerce, because e-commerce can very quickly bring Hong Kong services and products to different places to the mainland. So the administration should consider having AIGC and also a robust chatbox to market our products online. According to the administration, they have to spend money employing mainland KOLs to market our products. So we should nurture our own team of online KOL to help our products. Yes, we note the members' suggestions. We will consider them very carefully. Thank you. Any other questions from members? If not, thank you very much. We end the discussion of this item. Item 5, AOB. Do we have any AOB items? If not, the meeting is... Oh, Mr. Shanghai Long has an AOB item. Chair. In our agenda, actually, in our May regular meeting, we're going to discuss the Hong Kong PC's plan to help us to dovetail with the national 14th five-year plan. However, there are item 4 on the list of outstanding items, latest developments of Hong Kong Science Park and Inno Park, and also item 6, progress of the Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park. I suggest that we have an overall discussion of these items, because we used to have industrial estates. Now we have the Hong Kong Science Park and Inno Parks, and at the Loop we also have the Hong Kong Shenzhen INT Park, and there is also the Hong Kong Shenzhen INT Park Corporation. All these are supporting measures for developing INT in Hong Kong. But if we discuss these projects in a piecemeal or fragmented manner, then that is not logical enough. I hope we can have an overall discussion of all these projects together. Now, I am on the board of the Hong Kong Science Park. Now, for the Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park, it is still in a very initial stage of development. Now, there is first the Hong Kong Hong Kong Technology Park, and then under it there is the Hong Kong Shenzhen INT Park. Money has been approved for the development of the park. If you would like a very comprehensive report of the Hong Kong Shenzhen INT Park, I'm afraid there is nothing too much to report on at this stage. I cannot agree with you more. So item 4 and 6 can be discussed together. So, all right, I think that is what you meant. Under Secretary, I'd like to respond to the question asked by Mr. Shang, whether we can give more functions to the Hong Kong Home Return Permit so that it can be used online as well. I can reflect that to CMAB because CEPA provides liberalization services for Hong Kong enterprises, and the home return permit is a document many people have or everyone has. So perhaps we can explore this feasibility. I find it disappointing. Now, you're saying that the Hong Kong Shenzhen INT Park is still a vacant piece of land. It is still on the drawing board. And yet the government is talking about promotion of INT. And if that land is still vacant, then I am rather disappointed. Of course, that you're not to blame. Well, my information may not be 100% correct. If there are no further AOB items, then the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.